Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So in today's video, I actually want to revisit Aldo as a 5-star and kind of see how he fares up versus the current meta. I'll actually put a link below as to my first review of him about a year ago. Now the most important question of all is he hot or not?
He's pretty hot, but I guess I'll have to get in line.
Well, to be fair, he has a lot of women going after him since he has a large harem anyways. So you can see his VC, its power and physical resistance up by 30% for one turn, so both an offensive as well as defensive VC, very useful for against lots of tough bosses in the game, or especially in, for example, Karakuri in present-day Garrelia dungeon, and some other, useful one-turn kills if you're going to VC him in while killing off mobs. So, in terms of his moveset, we went with these three moves. All of his moves are slash-based, so his Volcano Blaze is very recognizable, especially from his, a 4-star move. It's a fire-type slash-attack single-target large. So, pretty decent, although, like I said, being that he is a starter character, even as a 5-star, unfortunately he has been power-crept quite a bit. We'll talk about that in a little bit later on in this video, but this is still very useful in damaging, enemies weak to slash or fire, and it's not too much MP in terms of use, so you can still use it for an extended period of time. You can also alternate that with his X-Slash, which is also his 4-star move, slash AoE non-elemental, so against enemies who are resistant to fire type attacks, you can swap this one in, especially against some mobs or weaker enemies. I wouldn't be using that, of course, against some of the tougher bosses in the game, being that nowadays you can actually build a slash team with slash zone, for example, or some, like fire type teams as well. Now, this is one of his 5-star moves, the Dragon God Slash, actually pretty useful, non-elemental single XL slash, and applies slash resistance, which is stackable times 4. So, 20, 10, 10, 10 for a total of 50% if you get all 4 moves. Very, very useful, especially in slash zone, being that any slash attack does power the AF bar the same amount. Again, being that all these moves are single target, not so useful outside of zone characters. There are only 2 slash zone characters so far. One is Alulu AS, which is coming out in Japan later on, and we do have Radius, which you can use him as well. Finally, his signature 5-star AoE is now a X/Mark II fire type slash attack on all enemies times 2 hits. This one's actually very useful, clears a lot of mobs, still very useful in spamming for AFs as well. Okay, so let's bring up his 5-star board. You can see the 2 moves there. And we'll just scroll up to the top. So in terms of his characteristic, protagonist as well as guiding light. So the only grass that we have is just a fire one, and this one is a very special one, which you get at the end of, I think, chapter 55. I want to say enhanced special attack protagonist. So what this one does, it actually increases the amount of damage if you get a full bar AF while you have him on your team. So if he's a solo guy doing the Ogre Rancorum finisher, or even in combination with other slash type characters and kind of giving that sword AF finisher, it does add quite a bit of strength to it, and I will demonstrate that again later on in this video. I mean, I would definitely put this one over his Dragon's Bearer Psalms VC, which you can also still get his true VC Grasta. Now let's take him out for a spin. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So let's take him into the Purgatory, where obviously fire has a huge advantage over over wind. And we're going to demonstrate his X/Mark II. Damages pretty much everything, and I do have Miyaki's sword on him, so he actually does have that kind of vampiric heal where he heals after each hit. And we'll just tackle another couple of enemies here. So in terms of his other moves, we'll use the Volcano Blade. And note that the damage here is about 50,000. And we'll just demonstrate using the Dragon God Slash, which obviously applies 20% slash resistance down. And then we'll hit him again with the Volcano, and notice that obviously 20% increased damage from 50k to about 60k. Again, you can stack that on top And unless you have a lot of characters with VCs that apply slash resistance down, it's actually a very viable move. Now, one of his main uses, obviously, as a free character is you can grind his light and make his castle hard and very hard. You've seen quite a bit of videos of me doing that. And being that he actually, in my case, has 175 light, he's got quite a few stat bonuses as well. He, being that in Garrelia Dungeon you do need 360 light or more to get all of the results and reward lines. I mean, he can participate in the battle clearly. As you can see, he can beat even on the Sacred Beast. He can kill mobs in any areas that are weak to slash and fire. And in Garrelia, there are actually multiple enemies and groups of mobs that are vulnerable to one or both. So he still does definitely have a use, both in light carrying as well as in damage DPS. He can actually combine his Dragon God Slash and help Zami do more damage with her Heavenly Dance. And there you go, 5 reward lines there. I mean, your other option as a free-to-play is probably to use Strawboy. I wouldn't say I'm an expert in using him, so I can't really tell you how to kind of set him up best, but my understanding is he's not really a DPS, more of a kind of healer slash really quick unit. So jack of all trades, master of none for him. Anyways, in this final example, we're going to take on Rot Rival. Now, I know that everyone can do a 2-turn AF with the adequate number of gacha 5-star fire users. In this case, we're using pretty much all free characters. I know Bivet's not really a free character, but by this time, you could have already gotten her as a 4-star, and she got a free upgrade to a 5-star. Also, in my case, when I first started in the first week of Global, I actually chose Bivet as my free 5-star instead of Miyu or Seal. So there you have it. Okay, so being that we are using AS Garyu, obviously he is one of the best free 5-stars in the game currently, and we could do the slash resistance down. Obviously in Fire Zone, his fire attacks both gets boosted by 50% in damage, as well as contributes to the AF. So what we're going to do is we'll try to rotate everyone in and get some slash damage in. We do have Joker and Gilda in the back. And no, we're not going to kill off everyone and use Gilda's cheese super move to end the game. We're actually trying to feature Aldo, which is the other protagonist in this game. Keep in mind that being that Rot Rival does have both physical, mainly physical attacks with either non-elemental or wind element, if you actually VC in Aldo, it actually will protect you against some of those moves. This one is a wind type magical attack, so obviously you need something like Burning Shield, or Miyu actually, her move gives you a 30% type wind resistance. Okay, so we got everyone in, and we're going to just obviously do a big AF here. Rune Blade would actually have been good in reducing the int of Rot Rival. That being said, we're just using Princess Bloom, slashing. We're going to apply multiple slash resistance. Keep in mind that obviously his Dragon God Slash is non-elemental, so it doesn't really contribute to Fire Zone. Keep that in mind. You want to use those before the AF to build up as much AF multiplier as you can. The Calamity from Gilda is a fire attack, so that's pretty good. And we have all slashes here. Note that the final damage there is 800k, which is actually not bad given that the overall damage from the AF is only about 4 million. I mean, we are using a lot of new free characters, and keep in mind that Joker is having no fire elemental Grasta. Gilda has, I think, I want to say none. He does have his own specialized armor and Grasta, and Miyu has none as well. You can see from the symbols down there how many fire boosts he has, and he has none. Okay, so we're just going to rotate everyone in the back. For those who aren't familiar with that, if you don't, after the 2 turns that lightning lights up underneath the people's feet, you will get hit by a stunning attack that confuses, as well as the significant non-elemental magical attack. So you don't want that to happen, you'll die. Okay, so now that we're done here, we're going to rotate 2 people back in and do some more damage here. I do actually have an old Rot Rival video using a really budgeted 5-star fire team. Keep in mind that a lot of the content I've created was when the content first came out. So, for those of you who haven't, taken on the content much later on when you have really powerful characters, it's much easier to do so. But if you catch some of my older videos, you actually can see a lot of maneuvering in order to survive a lot of the attacks without actually getting killed. And in this case, with Rot Rival, I think my first battle I needed 3 full AS to defeat it. I don't even think AS Garyu was on the team at that time. We didn't even have access to AS Garyu because that content hadn't been released. Okay, so let me know in the comments below what you think of Aldo, whether or not you still carry him on your team or if you don't. I really do like him, both for the fact that he is the main character in the game, and I really don't want to let him go. I hope that he does get an upgrade later on in Japan. I know that Japan has come up with a lot of new updates coming up soon. AS Mew is coming out, which I'm actually very happy about. There's also, I think, AS Radica, AS Hismina, and some other upgrades to other characters as well. But for now, we only have regular 5-star Aldo, which is unfortunate. Okay, so for those who don't know, Rottweiler has now turned into his second more angry form. What that just means is the lightning underneath the feet doesn't take 2 turns to go off, it only takes 1 turn to go off. So, again, if you use a large AF, you won't even see the face. Otherwise, once you bring him down to this phase of damage in terms of the HP, then you really have to watch out, and he can do a lot more damage, and he's pretty fast to boot. In this case, we do have a full AF bar, and we're going to go at it again with our 3 slash attackers, plus, of course, AS Gary. Here we go. The good thing about Joker is that he has a slash attack, he has a magical attack, and he has a piercing attack with his triple burst. So, yeah, keep on damaging. AS Gary is obviously the star here, doing tons of damage and generating Fire Zone, but still, Aldo is keeping up with some of the damage, and there you go, another AF bar finisher, 760k, 7 mil finish, and there you have it. And Rottweiler disintegrates, and we get another 50 chaos drops. Okay, so in conclusion, I really do like Aldo. I think for the beginning to even midway through the endgame, that is if you're in chapter 50 or even 60 and haven't really grinded up Straw Boy, he's essentially one of your only major light pillars out there. I mean, the other one being Amy. The downside with Amy, no fire attacks obviously, and no AoEs to boot. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.